What's good, everyone? This is Miles per hour, and welcome. Today, I want to talk about a new industry that I see emerging that could really have the potential to shake up the market. This is an industry that will have huge growth potential ahead in the coming years and is actually incredibly relevant today. I'm talking about lab-grown meat, also sometimes referred to as cultured meat, which refers to the process of growing meat in a lab directly from animal cell cultures. Now, the reason I'm bringing up this industry in particular is because in December of 2020, last year, Singapore approved a San Francisco-based startup by the name of EatJust to take cell-grown chicken meat to market, becoming the first country in the world to give the green light on selling lab-grown meat. This is huge because Singapore is one of the wealthiest countries in the world with an expanding market. You can bet that if Singapore is bringing in lab-grown meat for the public to eat, other nations will follow as well. Now, the process of actually creating lab-grown meat is fairly intensive. First, a small sample of tissue is taken from an animal. These tissues are isolated in a petri dish and given correct humidity levels for the cell cultures to thrive. They are fed sugars and proteins, and over the course of their growth cycle, the cells will replicate, forming muscles and tissues as cells naturally would in the body. While this is exciting and very promising, we are also a long way from growing full-blown steaks, unfortunately. For now, we have products akin to Sloppy Joe or chorizo. Furthermore, another challenge faced by lab-grown meat is getting people over the weird factor of eating meat made in a lab. In an article by Oliver Morrison, he quoted that Gen Z might not be ready for lab-grown meat. And I quote, "Researchers of the University of Sydney and Curtin University questioned 227 randomly selected people born between 1995 and 2015. The Australia-based respondents were asked questions about their demographics, dietary preferences, such as how often they like to eat meat, how they felt about cultured meat, and whether they thought it was necessary to accept and consume, as well as their preference for different meat alternatives, such as insects, plant-based, and cultured meat. With people born between 1995 and 2015 numbering 2 billion people globally, the scientists said Gen Z consumers were a force to be reckoned with. However, they discovered that 72% of respondents were not ready to accept cultured meat, defined in the survey as lab-grown meat alternatively produced by in vitro cell cultures of animal cells instead of slaughtered animals. However, despite their lack of enthusiasm from the new meat alternative, 41% still believed it could be a viable nutritional source because of the need to transition to more sustainable food options and improve animal welfare. Despite all the hurdles that lab-grown meat faces, if startup companies like EatJust can make it work, the rewards could really pay off if the consumer demand is there. The reason I see massive growth in this industry over the next few years is for a plethora of reasons. It's cruelty-free and eco-friendly, as it promises to use less water, resources, and land than you would typically see with farm-raised animals. Clean meat could have the potential to feed the world's growing population in ethical and sustainable ways. Comparably, there's no question that vegan and plant-based meats have seen a huge market surge over the past few years, and it's currently a sector that is seeing the most innovation when it comes to consumer-based food products. Since Beyond Meat went public in 2019, it has seen a massive 400% return to date, with still room to grow. The global cultured meat market size as a whole was estimated to be $206 million USD in 2020 and is foreseen to reach a valuation of $572 million by 2025 at a compound annual interest rate of about 15% over the projection period. Now, since there are no current lab-grown meat companies that are publicly traded, I wanted to share with you guys some of the best ones that I personally see potential in that could possibly go public in 5 years to a decade. The first one is Mosa Meat. These guys created the very first lab-grown burger back in 2013 and have since been very open to investments. Their ongoing progress has raised over $9 million as they look to launch lab-grown meat for retail in 2021. The next one is a company called Memphis Meats. They've stated that they've brought in $161 million in new investments in early 2020. Their impressive list of private investors includes Tyson Foods, Bill Gates, and Richard Branson. Memphis Meats is a good bet for being an ongoing leader in cultured meat. Their goal is to have lab-grown meat ready by 2021. While you can invest indirectly to lab-grown meat through publicly traded companies like Tyson Foods, they are personally not a company I would recommend or want to put my money in, particularly when you look at Tyson Foods' 5-year growth chart. And finally, the third and my personal favorite company, EatJust Inc. As of December 2020, EatJust Inc. is a private company, just like every other lab-grown meat startup company. This means only private donations are possible. However, their founder, Josh Tetrick, said in 2020, "Our plan is to hit operating profitability before the end of the year," before adding the company is aiming to go public at some point after that. Just stated in 2020 that they were seeking funding to take their valuation of $200 billion. A spokesman said, "As a high-growth company focused on expanding Just Egg sales and capacity expansion needs, we are always evaluating sources of capital to achieve our mission to build a healthier, safer food system." So guys, in conclusion, the popularity of plant-based meat products gives me even more confidence that when lab-grown meat finally starts to hit the shelves in restaurants and eventually becomes more mainstream, the earning potential in this industry will be incredible. Thanks for listening, guys, and until next time.